A heart? What kind of heart, Lily? Like a human heart? Or like...
Bro. The SAFE Act would render Palestinian Authority passport holders, covered aliens, inadmissible in the U.S.,
Okay.
bar DHS Secretary from granting immigration non-immigrant visas to covered aliens, revoke visas issued to covered aliens on or October 1st. It's like the, yeah, dude, it's like the Chinese Exclusion Act. This is like a dark period. Yo, it's kind of cool that, like, Americans are like, oh, dude, Israel is really racist.
A
Guess
heart?
what? It's our time to shine.
That was a presidential
What's happening
speech?
here?
Thank
Like,
you,
you're not even
bro.
in Israel.
Sometimes
Why do you
I
have
can
this
talk.
position?
Sometimes.
Why are you so racist? Like,
BPOGers lift people up. Everyone can be Kim Jong-gi. You can have a Kim Jong-gi, and you can have a Kim Jong-gi, and you can have a Kim Jong-gi, okay?
Racism.
You all can have a Kim
like,
Jong-gi. Stop being such a little bitch about it.
To be like, oh, dude, we can't let those guys get fucking
tearing others down.
fascism.
Everyone
we will do
can
Hitlerian
be
style exclusions right now.
Master Jung-gi, okay?
It's crazy. American Republicans
do not tear others
given
down.
The opportunity to be racist,
Do not
just like
rain on their parade
like,
because
oh,
you
dude,
want to consider
Adolf
your
Hitler
opinion to be
straight up.
the realistic one. Don't be an ass. Lift each other up and work till you get it. Stop making excuses.
Forrest Hermit and Joey Keyboard, thank you for the 20 and
Just
10 gifted subs.
make it reality.
Yeah, so I could be way more racist than you, dog. You don't even fucking... Dude, just let me at him, dude.
You
don't you guys want to do settlements? You guys want to do pogroms? How about we fucking do pogroms here?
You don't know.
Republicans push for a bill and create like a settler activist.
Ooh, I have an idea, Lily.
Resettle Dearborn,
if
Michigan.
I can
no, dog.
make it a little political,
right
but
we
like,
have to take Dearborn
positive.
Back.
You said any heart,
It
so
is
maybe
my
I'll
God-given
put a little Palestinian.
Representative Zinke wants Congress to shut down Palestinian immigration. Enough
what do you call
enough.
it? Palestinian swag. You don't know what it's like. Can you guys post the Palestinian flag? I'm too lazy to look at it. I know what colors it has, but
bro,
do your Palestinian
can't look like this,
pride
dude.
stuff in the chat, okay?
Sorry.
For me, do it for me.
What the fuck?
You
check out his Instagram about it. Wait,
what
really?
it's like. That's right. Let's go.
Zinke for Montana.
You don't know.
First of all,
what it's like.
fuck ass. Ain't nobody trying to go to your bitch ass state. Suck my dick, dude. Fuck you.
I feel
okay.
like nothing in town.
Also, secondly, why the fuck's he constantly posting this photo?
You don't know what
Stupid
it's
fuck.
like. It's actually a great thing because I've wanted to make pro-Palestine art for a while.
That is more anti-Hamas.
Now Lily has given me the sign I needed, you know.
Montana is actually beautiful. Yeah, sure, but also, you know, my point stands. Did you see
Smoothing
Trump's
is on? That's
border
what's
wall
happening.
commercial where he talks about immigrants poisoning the blood of the U.S.? He's a Nazi and it's influencing people to be more bold with the racism. Is scary time. Palestinians' greatest plight cannot visit Kalispell, Montana. Oh, Jesus. John Oliver did a quick piece on Ryan Zinke.
Of the Interior, a man doing a job that Trump definitely fully understands.
I have to pee, I'll be back.
I have to really talk about a very special guy that I made Secretary of...
Bro, it sounds like AI, don't it? Doesn't it sound like AI?
The Interior. Does he know the Interior? He knows it. He loves it. He loves seeing it and writing on it.
What the fuck are you talking about? You sound less like a president trying to introduce a member of his cabinet and more like a guy at a yard sale trying to sell a couch that he definitely fucked. Oh, do I know this couch? I love this couch. I love seeing it and riding on it. And you know what? I just decided she's not for sale. Leave us alone. Get out of here. Give us some privacy. Zinke's job is to serve as a steward of America's public lands, although so far he's overseen the largest reduction of federal land protection in the nation's history, including reducing the size of the Bears Ears Monument in Utah, which included land sacred to local Native American tribes, by more than 3/4. And while many said that that was a favor to oil and gas industries, Zinke used his qualifications to push back hard.
I'm a geologist. I can assure you that oil and gas in Bears Ears was not part of my decision matrix. A geologist will tell you there is little, if any, oil and gas. Now, the geology is clear on that.
Now, you might have caught Zinke there mentioning that he was a geologist. It's something that he suggested at least 40 times in public, including under oath before Congress, which makes it a little awkward that this week it emerged that Ryan Zinke is not, in fact, a geologist. He has never been a geologist. What he did do was major in geology in college, which does not make you a geologist. All it does is qualify you to watch the movie San Andreas and whisper to your friend, it wouldn't happen like that. and Zinke actually has a pattern of...
Dude, he is such a goon, dude. He looks ridiculous. He's got like the perfect ape dome, you know? Like he kind of looks like the fucking IDF guy. The IDF spokesperson. You know what I'm talking about? This is like a henchman skull. Thank you. That's exactly. Bro, exactly, dude. He's got like the archetypical villain skull shape. Like you're, but not the main guy. You know what I mean? Like a goon, like a henchman. He has the henchman phenotype, just like the fucking IDF spokesperson that's always like going up on fucking CNN to be like, those children, they had to be killed. Like it's the same.
You don't know.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what, like, it's very like, whoa, grug.
Inflating the importance of past glories, no matter how insignificant. For example, when he ran for Congress, he boasted about this.
I was a high school president, and we went undefeated our senior year in football. Won the state championship. America.
What was that? It would have made just as much sense if he'd said, I weighed 6...
Dude, I love a guy from Montana being like, we have to shut down Palestinian immigration. Like, what are you saying? What are they stuck in your butt chin? Like, is that where the Palestinians are going? Are they gonna hide in your fucking butt cheeks ass chin? Is that what you think? You fucking goon? God damn, dude. What chin? You see the fucking chin. Look at his goddamn, the cleft chin. Got a booty cheek on his fucking face.
6.5 pounds when I was born, and I once ate a quesadilla burger at Applebee's, Bolivia. And all politicians self-mythologize.
Trying to say Hamas like Israelis do, like, oh, that's right. I'm Ryan Zinke, and I think Hamas is hiding in my plums. Hamas. Am I saying it right?
Of course, but Zinke has a real flair for creative license.
Am I doing it right?
He served as a Navy SEAL, which is genuinely impressive. But here is how his service was described in an ad for his book.
Zinke rose through the ranks to be a commander at the same SEAL team that killed bin Laden, saved Captain Phillips, and rescued the lone survivor.
Now, to be clear, Zinke retired as a member of that SEAL team 10 years before it saved Captain Phillips and 12 years before it killed bin Laden. But Zinke has actively blurred those lines. He once sent out this congressional campaign fundraising email citing his time as a SEAL with the subject line, "Who killed Osama bin Laden?" Which is only a fair title if the email goes on to say, "Definitely not me. You must be thinking of someone else, but he sounds great and you should probably vote for that guy for Congress."
God, I hate this guy so much. Oh my God. Fuck this guy. God, American politics is such a fucking joke. Dude. Fuck. All right. Anyway, that was like, it's kind of funny when we look at like, it's pretty funny to just like look at one incredibly racist ideology and then be somberly reminded that, like, America can always outdo you, okay? Like, the proximity to the situation, in my opinion, somehow makes, like, a fucking man from Montana come across more racist than some fucking settler dude. living in the West Bank doing pogroms. You know what I mean? It's like, why? Why did you take it upon yourself? You live in fucking Montana, butt chin. The hell? Where the fuck are you coming from?
Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, you can see these live pictures here, is arriving for those meetings, those discussions. He is here talking to Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president. Let's have a listen.
And of course has to the inherent right of the Israelis to defend themselves. And we are...
I think like the inherent right to the Israelis to defend themselves should be substituted in the same way that like Confederates do the whole like is heritage not hate / the Civil War was fought over states' rights to what? Oh, to own slaves. And in a similar fashion, when someone says like Israel has a right to defend itself, you should ask them like defend themselves to do what? Like Israel has a right to do what? And it's actually not necessarily to defend itself; it's a defensive genocide against children. Israel has a right to defend itself against a 50% child population.
Hearing from the outside the demonstration of the families, our heart goes out to them. We understand it. We want their immediate release. And finally,
oh, by the way, the Israeli hostage families have now officially moved on to the next stage of their protest, where they now have set up tents outside on the streets, something that they had done in the past as well. Hold on, I'm going to give you the exact thing that they're doing. Where is it? We've already talked about the slain, murdered hospital workers and all the people around the fucking the people around the ambulances that were targeted.
I want to say
anyway,
something.
I'll find it
with your respect as to the humanitarians, the humanitarian and the international law abiding by the state of Israel. So this is a leaflet.
Bro, if I'm Herzog, I'm not putting up fucking pamphlets, okay? This man does not have the best track record. Every time this dumbass takes a fucking pamphlet or a leaflet and tries to show it to the population, he's just like he is just universally made fun of. He already fucking did this last time with the Al-Qaeda manual,
Which we are sending by over 1,200,000 leaflets to the citizens of Gaza.
That's so sick. Dude, he's like, look, this is my ethnic cleansing pamphlet. Sick, man. Thank you. Thank you. Fucking laminated ethnic cleansing pamphlet.
We've carried out 6 million text messages and 4 million phone calls to the citizens of Gaza according to the rules of international law, where we alerted the citizens in advance, including before the Jabalia attack. Please move out, because as we have the right for self-defense, we want you to go out of the premises from where missiles and guns and bombs and mortars are shelled at our people, and from where the horrendous, atrocious attacks went out. So you move out so we can go in according to international law and defend our people. 6 million text messages and 4 million phone calls. And
I'll always
1.2
love
million and phone calls in addition to all of that speaks for itself as we protect the civilians moving out.
I always
of
love
safe zone,
the idea of
giving them the
self-defense
right
when
and
you
necessary
invade
humanitarian
another
aid,
country.
and enabling ourselves to defend ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Well, thank you.
Against the babies, dude.
Yeah.
We gotta defend ourselves against the babies. And if they don't know how to fucking read, well, guess what, dude? Sorry. Oh, did your parents die? And you personally don't know how to read yet? Well, I guess you're gonna have to die too, you know? Think about it. It's probably better off that you die. Your parents are gone. You have no future. We should kill you as well. Good stuff. Cool stuff. Thank you. You should have just simply listened. We are an unstoppable force. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. We've watched this. Israel is one of the most racist states on the planet. Yeah. He's like, here it is. This pamphlet shows that we are committing ethnic cleansing in accordance with international law, which is not true. They are not doing that. Anyway, there was another thing I wanted to mention. Oh, okay. One thing to always consider. Whenever Israel says, we text these people ahead of time, they're not lying. They do. They actually have an entire, they have the numbers to every single person. They have the identification of every single person living in Gaza, which, by the way, very suspicious that, like, I thought the Gazan administration was, like, totally separate and removed from Israel. Weird that they have a population registry and the phone numbers of every single house. And they know who lives in every single address. And they call you ahead of time. The IDF calls you ahead of time to say, hey, we're going to bomb your house. Really interesting. How did that happen? Who knows? Don't think about it too much. But you should think about the fact that if they do know where every single fucking house is, and they call people up ahead of time, well, isn't that a little strange when the entire family of a fucking journalist is slaughtered while they're out there doing coverage? Something to really consider. It feels weird that 32 journalists have been slaughtered in this process, and some of them were killed at their own house with, alongside their families. It feels so odd. How could this have happened? Well, let me tell you how it happened. It's fucking deliberate. It is 100% targeted. Anyone that tells you it's a fucking coincidence is a goddamn liar and a stupid son of a bitch on top of that. Okay? Don't forget that shit. IDF is now suggesting any weapons were hidden before the people began documenting the carnage from Israel's attacks on the ambulance convoy.
Pictures of young men. I don't see weapons. Maybe they were conveniently hidden before TV crews came there to.
Nice,
Maybe.
dude. Yeah, no, totally. Dude, definitely.
For this whole orchestrated event, but bottom line, we know that.
Maybe.
Bro, why
maybe
do they have
Hamas is hiding inside of every child.
Henchman skulled motherfucker you could have for this job? I know the IDF has a fucking B team, dog. No shot. No shot. This dude is literally nonstop fucking up. You gotta sub out Andre the Giant. What's happening? Just go let him fucking kill children or whatever the fuck he's doing when he's not doing this PR shit. He is so bad. No, seriously, where is the other, tombstone looking motherfucker? He's been doing this nonstop. He just like keeps fucking up. He fucked up with Wolf Blitzer. When he fucked up with Wolf Blitzer, an Apex spokesperson, okay? A person that did comms for APAC. When even Wolf Blitzer was like, what do you mean? That's a refugee camp that you just bombed. I thought they would substitute him out. Little did I know, the Hasbara operations that, like,
they don't care
for my entire life as being, like, very successful, just severely relied on a mainstream media effort that contextualized every single instance of violence and took it up as though it was perfectly permissible. Not the same guy? Wasn't it this guy, or was it a Scottish guy? Oh, that was the Scottish guy. Never mind. That dude went, yeah, they took that guy out real quick. You're right. How could I forget? That was the Scottish guy.
You don't know.
No, he wasn't Irish. He's Scottish. Stop. How dare you? Blake Griffin is awesome. Fucked up. He can never wear a hat and return it. Yeah, no, they don't have. The Scottish guy got benched. You're right. This guy said the Hamas has 1,000 liters of fuel. Yeah, that's true.
There were Hamas operatives there.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, man. Thanks, Frankenstein's monster. Fucking Loser.
Thank you, Mr. President, and it's always good to be back in Israel. These are difficult days, but we're here as we've been and as we will remain in solidarity with Israel. We stand strongly for the proposition that Israel has not only the right but the obligation to defend itself and to do everything possible to make sure that this
They have the
October 7th
obligation to commit
can never happen
genocide,
again.
chat. They
And
must.
at the same time, as you
They
just
must.
made clear, how Israel does this matters, and it is very important that when it comes to the
You
protection
have
of
to do it,
civilians
Israel. You
who
have
are
to.
caught in the crossfire of
Our
Hamas's making,
fucking imperial influence
hope
depends on it.
the souls of those dead Palestinian children haunt you for the rest of your life, you fucking freak. Both of you, okay? I hope every time you close your eyes, you see the bloodshed that you participated in, okay? Every fucking time you close your goddamn eyes, you just are haunted by the visions of the thousands of deaths that you contributed to. I hope you never have a moment of peace.
that everything be done to protect them and to bring assistance to those who so desperately need it, and who are not in any way responsible for what happened on October 7th. So we're working on all of that together, but we have a shared determination, and that determination will not wane. We also are thinking every single moment of our hostages. So many Israelis, Americans, other nationals, and we are determined to do everything that we can to bring them back.
Yeah, except ceasefire. Except do a ceasefire, which is what the hostage families are demanding right now from the Israeli government. Except a ceasefire and immediate negotiations process, which is, you know, we can't do that because honestly, sorry, it's just like Israel is currently bloodthirsty. So they have to keep getting a pound of flesh. They have to keep ruthlessly punishing the Palestinian population. Sorry, it's just going to have to happen. And yeah, guess what? Like, a lot of the hostages, they're going to die too. They're going to die in the tunnels. They're going to die in the tunnels, and there's not a thing you can fucking say or do about it.
Safely to bring them back to be with their families and loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go. Yeah, sure.
There was some live remarks there. They're shaking hands with the cameras. Doesn't look like they're going to take any questions. No, they're walking away from the cameras now. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken there, and the Israeli President Isaac Herzog. An interesting exchange as well, because of course part of what Antony Blinken is here to do, and he was reflecting on it there, is that tread that delicate line between endorsing Israel's right to self-defense and self-protection, while also ensuring that civilians in Gaza, as Mr. Blinken was saying there, who have no part in this conflict and had no part in the attacks of the 7th of October, are protected while that military action goes on. And we know that's right at the heart of the discussions that the US Secretary of State is having with various senior Israeli figures in the next few hours while he is on the ground here in Israel.
All right.
Is a proper way.
At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. I'm going to run it right now. Bro, why are they saying defense and going over a border? Dude, they have to. There is a concerted media effort to constantly try to make these kinds of actions come across like they are morally permissible and legally justifiable. And I think that a lot of people recognize that it's not, right? How can you think this is appropriate? I don't think you can. You're not even trying with this one? Okay, man, we're fucking working here. I'm trying to go through a lot of the news stories that I didn't have time to do. Israel claimed it killed a number of Hamas terrorist operatives in a strike on an ambulance outside of Gaza's biggest hospital today. Videos reviewed by the Post showed women, children, and others in civilian clothes among the dead and wounded. This is from Evan Hill. Video showed more than a dozen people dead and wounded on the ground and damaged vehicles directly outside of the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City this afternoon. The source of damage was not immediately clear. For the record, I mean, and these are more trusted resources in the media. Anyway, here, do you want to watch Israel's goal was always ethnic cleansing? Here.
Israel's goal has always been ethnic cleansing. I think a lot of people have been watching what Israel's been doing in Gaza and think to themselves, understandably, how could any country do this? But what I'm about to tell you will make it absolutely clear that wiping out the Palestinians has been Israel's goal all along. It starts with the 19th century movement to create the State of Israel, the Zionist movement. While there's nothing wrong in principle with Jews having a homeland, the Zionist movement insisted that a Jewish state had to be in the heart of the Arab world, Palestine. The slogan for the Zionist movement was a land for a people without a land. Of course, Palestine wasn't a land without a people.
Ethnic cleansing is too extreme. You have to understand the tunnels. Lincoln only solidified his top rank. Can we start regurgitating talking points back? Yes, for the first time, general public opinion is all on the same page. Ethnic cleansing is too extreme.
Hundreds of thousands of Arabs already live there. This immediately created a problem for the Zionist movement. Israel could be a Jewish state.
Are you guys kind of seeing my
my
vision, chat?
In Palestine was to kick the Arabs
Do you
out,
understand where I'm going with this? You probably were like, what the fuck is this heart? Why does it look like this? Devin is stupid.
As overrun by them.
Stupid, you're stupid.
And therefore, we must persuade them to trek. Another leading Zionist and future Prime Minister
Noah Zahn isn't, oh, for fuck's sake, you guys haven't.
Saying we must expel
okay, well,
the Arabs and take their place. The Zionist
then
movement
Devin's
was also
stupid. There you go.
that they'd have to take the land by force. Another Zionist
you guys should have told me something. You guys are so fucking polite. Jesus Christ. You're just sitting there like this. This is what you. This is you guys. Do we not have waiting?
As long as they see any hope of ridding
you guys just were like waiting there.
This is how
like
the
this.
Arabs will behave so long as they possess a gleam of hope
Smile.
that they can prevent Palestine
no, you idiots.
from becoming
Say
the land of
something.
Israel. This didn't deter the Zionist movement, though. Jabotinsky goes on to write,
I love you,
"Settlement of
chat, but
Palestine can develop behind an
sometimes
iron wall,
y'all are
which the Arabs
stupid
will be
as
powerless
fuck.
to break down." Zionism is often mistakenly referred to as a movement for Jewish salvation, but Zionism had a distinct colonial character from its inception. Whereas most liberation movements involve a group of people ridding themselves of foreign occupiers on their land, Zionists saw themselves as a Western force that would bring civility to the backwards Arab world. Leader of the Zionist movement Theodor Herzl wrote, "If it's God's will that we return to our historic fatherland, we should like to do so as representatives of Western civilization."
It's hard for Israelis to handle the term ethnic cleansing because they usually associate with the Holocaust. Don't worry, there's a new association with ethnic cleansing that you know, we are all aware of as well. You know, just like ridiculous. Ethnic cleansing in its most egregious, like obviously it's unacceptable in every shape and every form, but the current ethnic cleansing campaign is, you know, happening in the hands of Israel against Palestinians.
And bring cleanliness, order, and well-established customs to this plague-ridden, blighted corner of the Orient. For decades, Zionism lacked the support of
This is
going before and after the presidential speech and listening to Scaring the Hose. There you go.
On the
Nice.
archive from 1925, and he goes on to specify that it is a colonialist movement, not immigration movement, and that the difference was clear. This part isn't translated to English in the versions I read. Oh, thank you, Volodymyr Zelensky.
the vast majority of Jews, and relied mostly on ultra-rich aristocratic European families to finance itself. To gain traction, the Zionist movement also tried to make itself useful to Europe's leading imperialists. In 1902, Theodor Herzl wrote a letter to Cecil Rhodes, the infamous British imperialist who carved the British Empire's path through southern Africa. In the letter, Herzl wrote, "You're being invited to help make history. It doesn't involve Africa, but a piece of Asia Minor. Not Englishmen, but Jews. How then do I happen to turn to you? Because it is something colonial." Let's think about this for a sec. If Zionism really was a liberation movement, why would they seek an alliance with one of the greatest oppressors of humankind in history? Why would they expect to win his support? Almost all of the European imperialists that supported the Zionist movement were—
I can't tell if he's talking about Cecil Rhodes or just the British Empire in general.
motivated by anti-Semitism. To them, Zionism was a great excuse to get Jews out of their country. The Zionist movement even struck a similar agreement with Nazi Germany. While the worldwide Jewish community was boycotting German businesses in the early 30s, the Zionist movement struck an agreement with the Nazis called the Havara Agreement. It allowed Jews emigrating from Germany to Palestine to exchange their assets for German-made goods, which they then sold and received the proceeds of. While Zionism became hegemonic in Jewish communities following the horrors of the Holocaust, Zionism itself and the notion of a Jewish state in Palestine far predate the Holocaust and were firmly rooted in the idea.
How do I convince my mom the Palestinians won't commit genocide if they have the chance? I mean, look to like how conciliatory the Palestinian leadership has been throughout history, especially recent history. Also, the assumption that like those who are victims of an occupation or victims of colonial violence will turn around and engage in that exact same atrocities, is as old as time itself, and yet it's rarely ever happened throughout history. Unless, I guess, you're looking at like victims, survivors of the Holocaust, but not even necessarily all survivors of the Holocaust, turning around and redirecting violence to an entirely different population. Beyond that, this fear has always been a real fear, but it happened in Reconstruction, in the aftermath, in the abolition of slavery, and then immediately the same racial pecking order was reinstated in the South with Jim Crow laws and a tremendous amount of violence from roving gangs of Klansmen. It's just pure projection at the end of the day. It was a fear in apartheid South Africa. It's always been a fear.
Idea that Palestine should be ethnically cleansed to make room for Jewish settlement. It's not a coincidence that the day Israelis mark as Israeli Independence Day, May 14th, Palestinians remember as the Nakba, or the catastrophe, a series of massacres that forced 750,000 Palestinians out of their homes. Israel's founding is quite literally synonymous with terror and displacement for Palestinians, just as the Zionists said it would be. In the words of Israeli General Moshe Dayan, Jewish villages were built in the place of Arab villages. You don't even know the names of these Arab villages because these geography books no longer exist. There's not one single place built in this country that didn't have a former Arab population.
Yeah. They did some fucking Genghis Khan ass shit where like a lot of the Arab villages that they purged the Arabs out of, they then turned around and completely reduced the rubble. And the ones that they did not reduce the rubble because they were like cities, they simply changed the names of, in many instances, to go back to like Hebrew, to give it like a name in Judaism or like a biblical name. And then they planted European trees over the Arab villages that they destroyed.
Last week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech where he described Israel's expanding war in Gaza as Israel's second war of independence. In other words, he's saying that Israel intends to finish what the first war started, the expulsion of all Palestinians from historic Palestine. To Palestinians, it's obvious what this means. A second independence war means a second Nakba. The first Nakba turned 750,000 Palestinians into refugees. But in just the last 4 weeks, Israel has created 1.4 million displaced persons in Gaza. The Zionist movement has been openly stating their genocidal intent for the Palestinians, not just in the last 4 weeks, not just for the last 75 years, but even before that, when the state of Israel was just an idea. We know what their end goal is. The only question that remains is, this time, will the world let it happen?
The answer is yes. But, all right. If the bombs didn't kill us, our living situation will. A young woman describes
To describe what we're going through. Because we barely eat, we barely drink, we barely live.
She fled south to Rafah, but sometimes visits her sister in Gaza City.
I took my certificates, my passport, my favorite perfume, which is a luxury now that I think about it. This is where we sleep, in the kindergarten. The living situation generally is miserable right now. It feels like we're living 50 years ago or something, because we literally fight to get like a few liters of water every now and then. There's no bread. And when I say we have no water, I need people to comprehend that we spend days without drinking a single drop of water. That's how limited it is. Hygiene is absolutely a luxury at this point. There's barely water to wash your hands and to brush your teeth in the morning.
All you need to know about the situation, like when people talk about October 7 and how it like shattered the feeling of a sense of security that Israelis had, okay, without reflecting on the sense of security never existing for Palestinians in Gaza or the West Bank, just look to the situation in Israel right now. Okay? This is the experience of the average lucky Palestinian. This is a fortunate Palestinian in comparison to the not so fortunate Palestinians that are still under the rubble and dying. Okay? Now compare that to, I don't know, that lady who was fucking yelling at Drake earlier. That lady who was like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm like listening to the bombs fall on top of Gaza right now and killing those monsters. Yeah, this is the luckiest Palestinian in comparison to the least lucky Israeli citizen right now.
Morning.
Make that comparison and you'll
I've
understand.
had my share of suffering from all of this because of a food poisoning a few days ago. If the bombs didn't kill us, our living situation will eventually. And so I'm keeping the little bit of energy I have left in me, I'm keeping it to have a conversation with my mother. Because I don't know at any given moment what would happen.
Good morning, everyone.
One of the
This
journalists.
is Lisan from Gaza. It's the day 23 of continuous bombing. I'm smiling because I'm alive, and this is surprising for me because last couple of nights were really hard, especially after the internet and cellular connections, everything was cut off. I'm at the hospital, Shifa Hospital. I'm evacuating here, living in a tent for almost 3 weeks now.
والحكايات في كل بقاع الأرض معكم حكواتي زياراته لأنه أنت رح تروح على ناس إلك زمان
يا رب يا رب they bombed the door of the hospital.
Okay.
I'll show you now how people are living inside the shelter. So, first thing that people do when they wake up is to go to the bathrooms because there are long lines, but I wake up at 4 a.m. so I can avoid the lines. This is the scene.
What? Oh, notice how where is it? Someone said, notice how she doesn't have a hijab. It's even though people claim Hamas is ISIS. Notice that she doesn't have a hijab on. For all those who say that Hamas is ISIS, throws on non-hijabis and gays off the ceilings. Yeah, exactly. Like it is a obviously ridiculous comparison. Like especially because like Christian Palestinians are there too. You know what I mean? They have churches. And their biggest threat is not Hamas. Their biggest threat is Israel blowing up said fucking churches. But of course, if you're a gross Islamophobic, anti-Arab piece of shit, you know, you just look at that and go, no, that's how this was going on.
Of Shifa Hospital, the emergency. Can you imagine that this is...
Wait, is this
Can you imagine that this is not a market, this is not a street, this is a hospital? People are living here inside the buildings and in corridors and the patients' rooms. So continuous bombing, continuous emergency. People are sleeping and are evacuating to Shifa more and more every day here. I know that I seem to be energetic and يعني smiling, but it's not the truth. We're just trying to be positive because we felt death hundreds of times, so we appreciate that we are alive until now.
So Muhammad, Karam, and Maher are cleaning Shifa Hospital, the place that they took as a shelter by themselves. They are volunteering. These are our heroes, our kids. برافو شباب كملوا كملوا. هلا ألف مبروك. من وين جبت هدول الأغراض؟ زبطت معك تجيب خبز ومية مع بعض؟ يلا مبروك اسرد اسري يلا.
I'm now at the street near to Shifa Hospital trying to have some water, some bread, or anything else like thousands. For example, I'm now near to Al-Ailat Bakery. Look at the line. So this is the food I got today. I had here some cheese, but I ate the cheese before ending the bread. The bread is very old because there's no bakeries opening since يمكن 3 days. This is the first water I'm drinking since 8 a.m. Now it's 3 p.m. It's only 200 millimeters. People here in Gaza are thirsty more and more every.
Hey, Tony.
Oh, I'm muted. I've been muted this entire time. The chatter said, notice how the fucking racist pieces of shit that routinely deny the atrocities shut the fuck up when you're actually, looking at these conditions. And my response to that was going to be, if you could hear me, was no, depending on the level of racism, depending on what level of racism we're operating on, you will have people that come in here and go, this is also Pallywood. You know what I mean? That's it.
Every day.
So a group of tents, like tent holders, my neighbors, my new neighbors, agreed to have some electricity, a limited amount of electricity during the night. So during the night, we charge the power banks, the phones, any other stuff we need. As we're living in the garden of the hospital now, making our tent here, these are our shelves. We use the trees to hang our stuff. Let me introduce to you Farah. And she evacuated the home with us to the tent.
Aww.
She's our tent mate. It's now finally bedtime. Let me take some seconds for your time to let you hear the war plans sounds. Anyways, let me show you. Oh my god, they started the bombing early tonight. Let me show you guys where am I now and the place that I'm sleeping. I used to sleep in a really good, comfortable, beautiful room full of my memories and thoughts and plans and stuff and everything. احكي لنا شو اسمك؟
عاصم.
كم عمرك يا عاصم؟
11.
انقصف بيتكم؟ قديش حكى لكم اطلعوا؟
لا لا لا.
طب في حدا صار له إشي من العيلة؟ مين؟
أمي وأبوي.
استشهدوا؟ She can't open her eyes, but she's alive. No one knows until now her family. No one survived except her. If anyone knows anybody about her, just call us. She's in the Shifa hospital now.
We were telling you guys that the nights are hard, but now the days are harder too. Everyone is carrying injuries and murdered people from the streets because the carpet bombings happened in the streets without any warning, and people are killed every single moment. This is a really tough day that Gaza are going through.
They bombed the door of the hospital. They bombed. I've been there before 2 minutes. It could be me.
المستشفيات مش قادرة تتعامل مع أي إصابات ثانية، الطاقة منهك، الوزارة منهكة، المخازن فضيت، الوقود عم يخلص، فلازم نكون بلاقتنا بحالي.
All this smoke behind me is because of the bombing of a home near to Shifa Hospital. So now we have to stay awake to be protected and to avoid any bombing near to us or near to our tent. So this is the situation. Bombing at 11 a.m., at 12 p.m., at 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m., also at 6 p.m., and the bombing increases as well during the night. And basically, I don't have any safe place to go. Now we're in danger even inside Shifa Hospital. No one is safe here. We are all afraid.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Imagine if 45% of your houses in your country were destroyed in less than a month. Oh no, that number is higher now. It was like a week or so ago. It was 42%, and I think it must have increased.
أحلم أصير دكتورة كبيرة. إني أكون مدرسة. أصير مهندس ونعمل بلدنا. بحلم إني أدخل الجامعة. يكون عندي أيباد وأكون يوتيوبر. حلمي يصير عندي سيارة رونالدو. أنا بعرف ألعب كورة. روح حط الكورة فرزي لعب فيها. عن جد؟ والله.
دكتورة؟ ليش حابة تصيري دكتورة؟
عشان أعالج الناس.
ليش بدك تعالجي الناس؟
عشان أصير طيار وأسافر وأحرر القدس وأجيب الناس وأخليها تروح أمريكا تسافر وتشم هوا كيف كل شيء. أنا أكون مهندسة.
ليش؟
عشان الاحتلال اليهود لما يقصفوا البيوت أروح أبني البيوت وأبني البلد وأعمرها وأشوف البلد على إيدي إن شاء الله تكون روعة. أكون أميرة بقصر بين غيوم أو مدينة حلوى وشوكولاتة مارشميلو. أعيش أنا وأطفال غزة بخير والقدس بضلها لنا وغزة انتصرت. ما إنه يقصفوا بيوت وبروش ويخافونا كده ويطلعوا ناس من بيوتهم. يا رب كلنا نضل عايشين.
نرجع الأقصى، نرجع أرضنا، ديوننا، بيتنا، وع بيت جدي القديم نشوف إيش في غادة.
إيش كمان؟
خلص هو في حلم غير أن نرجع على الأرض كل واحد نرجع على أرضنا وخلصنا.
إننا هنا ضحايا شهداء مع فرق التوقيت فقط. نحن نمضي واحدا تلو الآخر.
This is the moment a Palestine TV journalist reports on his colleague's death.
لا تحمينا هذه الدروع ولا تحمينا هذه القبعات. إنها مجرد شعارات نرتديها فقط. هي لا تحمي أي.
When you see stuff like this and your immediate reaction isn't like, we have to stop this, we have to stop this. This is so completely and utterly unacceptable. I don't know what to tell you. Especially like those who are journalists who consider themselves to be journalists. Like the fact that they have nothing to say about their colleagues being ruthlessly slaughtered by a violent machine. Like,
where is our humanity at this point, chat? Like, we are monsters, dude.
We owe so much to the Palestinians, straight up. So much.
صحفي على الإطلاق لا تحمينا هذه الدروع ولا هذه ما نرتديها فقط هي الشعارات فقط. نحن هنا ضحايا على الهواء مباشرة. نفقد الأرواح واحدا تلو الآخر بلا أي ثمن.
Mohammed Abu Hattab, a Palestine TV correspondent, was killed along with 11 members of his family Thursday night, according to a statement from the Palestinian Authority-run television network.
تلو الآخر زميلنا محمد أبو حطب كان هنا منذ نصف ساعة فقط.
Hattab's last on.
Yeah, he did his last coverage, went back to his family, and Israel killed him.
Their report was about Israeli airstrikes on neighborhoods in Khan Yunis and the number of casualties, according to a Palestine TV video.
Do you think it's possible to discuss with someone who defends Israel? Does it make sense? Yeah, I think so. I think you should not stop trying to show the humanity of Palestinians to your friends, depending on like how brainwashed they are, but
The Israeli military had no immediate comment on the incident, and CNN could not independently confirm the source of the blast.
oh shit. Here is the other side of the, and then this is the other side of the story. Okay? The other side of the story, which is the West Bank. What is this? Phase Apex check DM? Is that what you said? I don't know who Phase Apex is, but I followed him back. A chatter sent me this. Oh yeah, Israel is also expelling the Palestinian workers, the day laborers that they gave permission to. Phase Apex is a Palestinian living in the U.S. All right, I followed him back. They were already fucking what do you call it? They were already here. There it is. They numbered us like cattle. Palestinian workers held captive by Israel since October 7th were released today back to Gaza with number tags in their wrists. These are Palestinian workers that went through They went through a verification process to be able to get these work visas to be able to work. I saw Reddit frame the story as Israel allowing Palestinian workers to return to Gaza. They were detained. They were unlawfully detained. They were rounded up and unlawfully detained. In the beginning of October 7th, hundreds of Palestinian workers from Gaza who carry Israeli work permits were abducted by the Israeli occupation forces and held hostage. Many of them were released today on what seems to be a whim. Here are their testimonies. This is what happened to you. They took our clothes. They did not leave us anything. No money, no nothing. We were detained for 22, 25 days. How do you know Israel does not have a law to detain them? Because I'm a human being and not a fucking subhuman animal, psychopathic, bloodthirsty monster who thinks that unconditionally everything an apartheid state does is actually good because their enemies are somehow, Palestinians who are less than human. Okay? That's why. That's why I know that Israel does not have a law to detain them. I don't give a fuck what law it is. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but it was also illegal to be fucking Jewish in Nazi Germany. So did you actually do that? Did you actually consider that to be a part of the law? Would you have defended the concentration camps by being like, well, Hitler was following the law? You fucking idiot. A law under an apartheid regime against those who are subjugated is not a real law at all. You can never fucking defend that. Dumb bitch. Chill? No, fuck you. What do you mean chill? The fuck do you mean chill? Goddamn idiot came in here and is like, well, how do you know that it was an unlawful detainment? No, I'm sorry. I can't chill out with fucking baby-killing genocidal freaks in here who are justifying this from a lawful perspective. Nothing that Israel has done so far has been legal, okay? It's also morally repugnant. Not only is it also illegal, okay, but it's also morally repugnant. Yeah, administrative detention with no charges and trials is a massive fucking illegal thing that Israel does, and it's been a huge point of contention in every single negotiation that Palestinian authorities have had with Israel, and they've refused to give up on it. So shut the fuck up about this, okay? Administrative detention just means like they can fucking round you up and put you in a concentration camp and keep you there for as much as they want to, for as long as they want to.
وين الانفاق وين تاع الحماس مين بتعرف مين بتعرفش زي هيك اذا كان طبعا كله احنا عمال لا بنعرف هذا وين ولا انفاق ولا غيره.
We're workers. We don't know anything about tunnels. We don't deliver rockets or anything
كله ضارب
like
بحطونا على كرسي الكهرباء هذا
that. They beat us. They put us in the electric chair.
الله بنلاقيهم بخير سلامة وربنا
I love law Andes. It was also illegal to run away as a slave in America. Well, have you thought about the law? Excuse me, sir. Have you thought about the law before breaking free of your conditions as a slave? Breaking free of your shackles? Hello? Yeah, dude. They fucking... They
Have you considered that it's
mark
legal?
like they're fucking cattle. Like...
Thank you, Riot. It's a request from
If you watch this and feel
Lily.
you're a fucking sociopath, yeah. I mean, dude, it's pretty fucking wild. It's also legal for us to use money to pay for settlement building companies. Local construction firm for secret U.S. base in Israel also built an illegal settlement. Yeah. Brother, every single guy who asks that in here knows this. Israelis knows this. Zionists knows this. They just act obtuse for the sake of a Western audience. They genuinely hope everybody at Cringe Lord's basement gets flooded and they drown in their own piss bottles. Yeah. Okay, let me tell you something, okay? In a weird way, I understand the racist vitriol that, like, someone who's living in Israel feels, right? They've been conditioned their entire lives to feel this way. Like, I actually find it, I think it's tremendously difficult not to be that fucking racist if you're living in Israel. So I always applaud those who are unconditionally leftists in Israel who say, like, no, these are human beings. It's fucking ridiculous. All 12 of them, okay? Tremendous respect for them. But what I do not understand, what I will never understand, is the fucking conflict perverts who watch from afar and go, that's good. That's good, actually. Like, they don't even have the closeness to the circumstance. Like, they don't even have the closeness to that. They haven't received any of the backlash. They haven't, like, there is no reason for them to believe in the Zionist project being good. Especially if you didn't go to, like, I don't know, like Jewish camp or something, or you didn't go on fucking Birthright. Like, where is this coming from? How? At that point, I unironically believe that you are just that way because you don't even care about Israel, maintaining its, like, Jewish supremacy or anything. You just care that way because, like, these are Muslims and Christians, but mostly Muslim presenting Christians because they're fucking brown and Arab, and you've been conditioned into fucking hating them your whole life. So you're like, oh, it's great. Yeah, enemy of my enemy is my friend. Who gives a shit type beat, Like, how the fuck do you find yourself in a situation when you're, like, I don't know, when you're living in, like, fucking Montana, you're like a white Christian guy in Montana, and you're just like, man, I found out about this conflict this past week on Reddit, and, like, I love it. I love what Israel's doing. It's so sick. And now I'm going to defend it with, like, the stupidest talking points that you've ever heard. How did this happen? The amount of fucking Reddit posts I read is just, like, I feel like it's giving me a lobotomy. Like, so many people being like, oh, I'm black-pilled on the left because they love Hamas. Wow, it seems like the left loves Hamas. I'm so black-pilled, guys. I'm so black-pilled on the left, and I'm like, what are you saying? Like, that's your takeaway from the situation? Like, you just, I don't even know where you found this level of propaganda to just, like, fucking, to suck on it and make it such a permanent part of your goddamn existence where you're like, wow, I really lost my faith in the left. I used to be a socialist before this, but man, it sure seems like the left loves Hamas. Like, how do you just close your eyes and ears and categorically defend an apartheid and then immediately start and take it one step further and immediately start, like, attacking those who are criticizing the apartheid and go, that's, those are my enemies? It's so insane. It's so narcissistic. It's so weird. I swear, people like that are just looking for a reason. I hope that's the case. They're not leftists. They just think healthcare is for everyone. Law, zero class consciousness. Yeah, but they don't understand that, like, I mean, here, I'll tie it back to that as well. I'll tie it back to that. Oh, you like healthcare? Great. We are in the process of writing off $14 billion out of nowhere. We immediately found funds out of nowhere to give $14 billion worth of weapons to Israel. So why can't we give $14 billion worth of funds to, I don't know, fund a healthcare structure? Even more than that, as a matter of fact. How does that happen? How does that happen? If you want healthcare, you have to understand that, like, American militancy, American imperialism is genuinely a major setback towards that project as well. So if your priorities are simply on a selfish one where you just want fucking healthcare, then I can make an argument as to why you can't get it. What are we supposed to do in the U.S.? Our politicians are nowhere near what we need, but I don't know how anything's supposed to improve domestically. We can't vote against them because the other side murders trans people as a hobby. What the fuck is the move here? You just got to keep pushing. There's not anything else you can do. Oh, this is a funny dude. This guy's some fucking random guy named Robert Martin. I don't know. I don't know if he's like a fucking Nazi or whatever, but apparently he just like goes up. Like they let this fucking guy into Israel, you know, as a white guy from Australia, and all he does is just like yell at settlers in the West Bank.
And I've just been told about a wall. So this gate locks about 40 Palestinian families in, and it actually locks at certain times where they can't come out. And this actual side of the road that I'm walking on, Palestinians can't come. There's actually a bus stop over behind me, and the Palestinians aren't allowed to take it. I can take it. The Palestinians can't take it. It's complete racism at the heart. And if I walk over here, at the bus,
Racism.
you'll see.
Fucking Australian
I
Nazis.
don't know what this guy's deal is. I don't know anything about him. I've just seen this. I've seen this video before.
How you doing? You can see the heavily guarded stuff for the Palestinians. So I wonder who's protecting who. They all seem so worried about the Palestinians. There's nothing to worry about. It's terrible. Do you like the racism?
I like racism?
Yeah. What do you think about the Palestinians not being able to walk along here?
I don't know, I don't really think much about it.
It's because you don't think about other people, or?
Of course I do.
And then how can you not think when they can't walk here and they can't get the bus? I can't get.
Anyway, I want to look this guy up. I don't know shit about this dude. Aussie right-wingers are bizarrely pro-Palestinian, even though they're more anti-Semitic than anti-Zionist. They're weird, lol. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know anything about this fucking guy. I don't want to, like, hype him up. Anyone apartheid Israel is a target for violence. This is genocide. Free Palestine. Oh, he's an anti-war activist. He's an Australian historian. Wait, is this the guy? I don't know if this is the same guy. Probably not. I don't know if this is the same guy. Time for the world to wake up. Free Palestine. Let's stop the stigma of mental health and criticism of Israel. Okay. I love this part. Why would a Nazi be talking about racism? No, look, sometimes you gotta listen, there's some white guys out there that you gotta be careful of, okay? I'm not saying this guy's one of them, but, you know, I don't want to get fucking caught in like a Lucas Cage thing, okay? I gotta do my background research before I fucking promote somebody like that. All right? Seems like he's a good dude, though. But when I see someone who's like even subtly conservative, let me tell you something. I don't know if this guy is. It doesn't seem like he is. But when I see even a fucking like slightly conservative guy say Free Palestine, I'm like, fucking say? Where'd that come from? Like I admit, I am immediately like, because, like, I feel as though if it doesn't go along with their fucking worldview, the rest of their... Stop the criticism of Israel, is that ironic? No. In my mind, I have to... Yeah, in my mind, I have to just be like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? Because if it doesn't conflict... If it doesn't conflict with their overarching worldview, if they're like a fucking peace activist, then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Does that make sense? But if they're like randomly fucking just weirdly very into Palestinian emancipation and nothing else, but like on other issues they're like far right or right wing. Fair. I'm Aussie. My progressive left friend said Gaza should be flattened. Yeah, Australians are so weird. with their opinion on Palestine. I don't know why. Maybe like fucking Murdoch media is just like incredibly right wing. Is that what it is? Australians are fucking weird on Palestine, dude. Especially because like I feel like I don't understand it. I mean, obviously not my friends. They're fucking awesome. My Australian friends are based. But it's very odd. It's very odd how like upside down calling his friends. I'm Aussie and I've been telling my normal friends about how fucked the apartheid is. All right, here's the Aussie man.
They can't do anything. What do you think? Okay.
You
don't have to read up. You're living here, man. They're not allowed over here. You're on the bus.
I live in America. I come here a few times.
American dollars paying, huh? Fantastic. Hey, can I ask you what you think of the racism here? What do you think? What do you think about the Palestinians not being able to walk here? Don't care?
What?
You don't care? So
I
see
don't
the arrogance.
understand
See
English.
you see the arrogance about it. It's very arrogant that they're racist right to the heart. It's disgusting. You should be really ashamed of yourself. Say hi, huh? You're looking for peace? Just want to steal all of Palestine? You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Dude, the deference they have for white people is kind of wild too. Like, dude, a black person would not be able to pull that shit off under the suspicions that they might be fucking Muslim. You know what I mean? Like, Ta-Nehisi Coates didn't get to pull this shit off. Like, he would not be able to pull this shit off.
I just wonder if I could ask a couple of questions. You want to tell me about you want to talk to me? About why the Palestinians can't walk down here? You don't care?
I don't know. I know as much as you know.
No, you don't, because you live here.
I don't live here.
So that you just use, ignorance with a big smile on you. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. You can laugh. You don't know what's going on over here. You don't care.
Hi, guys.
Because you're all protected by this. Yeah, I'm recording.
How are you?
Because you're racist. It's disgusting. You're all protected by all the armed services. You don't care because you think it's God's will.
God should give you good life.
Yeah, why don't you tell everyone why you're living here? And what you're doing, occupying someone else's land.
It's our land.
Okay, you tell us. I want to know.
Yes, it's our land.
It's yours?
It's written in the Bible and is written in the Bible in very many places.
So he says that it's racist and Palestinians shouldn't be able to walk here?
They live here best in the whole Middle East.
Then why can't they walk across? Tell me why they can't walk across. Tell everybody.
Because they shot Jews on every place here.
Who shot 28 Palestinians here? Tell me.
Because they killed Jews here.
Who? Who killed the 28? Huh? Defending yourselves. Just say, fuck the Palestinians.
Oh, excuse me. Please talk nicely.
I won't talk nicely because you're a bunch of animals.
No cursing. No cursing.
No cursing.
I didn't curse
This is what the
anyone.
world should do.
Speak
Wake
nice.
up, world.
Speak nice.
This guy is insane. Why is he there? I don't understand. He's just, what does he do? I really hope he has his energy when it comes to the treatment of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Australia. I mean, the please stop cursing moment is pretty funny because it's like when Alex Jones talks about how like there's psychotic pedophile vampires in the Democratic Party and then like will apologize for saying fuck right after. It's like, bro, how, like, what do you mean? Did you just hear what you said? For these guys, like the people that he's talking to, they are straight up doing an act of terrorism. Like their existence in that area is deliberate. It is by design an act of terrorism. It is supposed to forcibly expel people, and this is happening right in front of our fucking eyes. He has anti-Australia Day posts, so he seems good on Aboriginal Australians. What the fuck? He's followed by Bitselim. He seems solid. Yeah, no, I looked at his stuff. I looked at his background. He seems like a chill dude. I mean, he's like real aggro, but he seems like a chill dude. It is kind of funny just seeing, I don't know. Some fucking bogan, you know? Using his bogan powers for good.
It's at sunset that they start mounting guard, overlooking the rolling hills south of Hebron, and wondering from which side danger will come on this night.
It's because of attacks by settlers and soldiers. They come, they search our homes.
Oh my god, yesterday they blew up a fucking bulldozer in Jenin. I don't know if you guys saw that. Which, by the way, once again, I have to repeat myself. Jenin is a refugee camp in the West Bank. It is controlled by the Jenin Brigade. Totally fucking legal, totally valid. Illegal to put a bulldozer there by the IDF. Totally legal to blow up the bulldozer, according to international law. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Not allowed. Stop doing that. Straight up.
Beat the young, so we have to stay up. They wanted us to leave before the war. Now they're more aggressive.
Several communities in the occupied West Bank, like this one in nearby Wadi Sikh, have been forcibly removed by Israeli settlers with the full support of the army, while much of the focus is on Gaza.
I presume that their plan is, after they finish with the shepherds community, to start and attack the villages and, to clean all the West Bank from non-Jewish people. This is their...
No, the Jenin Brigades are not a part of the Palestinian Authority. They're separate. Actually, the Palestinian Authority fucks them over, and as far as I understand, has like... Where's Kaya for real? Kaya is at boarding school right now, and she literally started heat.
Following Hamas's assault on southern Israel, far-right Minister of National Security Itamar Ben-Gvir has distributed thousands of weapons to Israelis. We were on our way to Kalkilia, a city further north, to meet up with a family whose shop has been bulldozed in retaliation of a post on social media that angered the military. But they just called us because settlers are attacking their Sharaf, a village nearby, and now they are afraid to speak publicly. The settlers began their attacks.
Jenin is a city, and the Jenin refugee camp is in Jenin. Is that what you want me to clarify? I think someone wanted to...
After the killing of a soldier while driving his car, setting ablaze houses and businesses.
Oh, here, in case people missed it, if you want to see.
يلا يلا يا قوة. بس.
That's valid. 100% perfectly legal. 100% perfectly legal. What the other guy, the dude in the bulldozer, doing something illegal. That bulldozer, illegal activity. It's not only perfectly legal, but it's also perfectly moral to do that.
يلا يلا يا قوة.
That shit goes off too. It's crazy. But what is a bulldozer doing in an active war zone? I mean, yeah. What do Caterpillar 9s, Caterpillar IDF 9s doing in a fucking active war zone? They claim it's to like scour the territory to ensure that there's no improvised explosive devices. But no, I know what they're doing. They're fucking tearing up the roads. Pieces of shit, scumbag motherfuckers.
يلا يلا يا كواس صفحة بس يلا يلا يا كواس.
Boom.
Yeah, they dig up all the roads to find IEDs. The IED appears to find it first, though. Yeah. Just saying, don't fucking bulldoze the roads in a refugee camp that you're not supposed to be bulldozing the roads in. Yeah. Seems to me like you found the fucking IED real quick. Fun fact for anyone out there wondering, all Caterpillar keys work on all their machines. If you get one, you have access to them all. Wait, really?
Huh.
2 killed as IDF raids Jenin, bulldoze the streets. Yeah, they've been doing this all fucking week. Why are they doing this? I thought that they were committed to like the security of Israelis, and that's why they had to I don't know, eradicate Hamas or something. So I just can't find it in my heart or in my mind why they would do such a thing in an area where there is no Hamas.
Why? Why,
I
chat?
just don't get it. Why, oh, why do they go and blow up shit in the West Bank then?
You don't know what it's like.
It's just odd.
You don't know what it's like. I feel it,
The
nothing
official
in
Palestinian Wafa news site
there.
reports that the 2 were killed when some 100 military vehicles entered the city along with bulldozers. Hamas's Al-Qassam brigade said it was fighting Israeli forces entering the city, including by deploying explosive devices, in the Palestinian Shabab news site reports. 2 Palestinians were reported to have been killed in the Israeli forces carrying out raids in the West Bank city of Jenin. No, there are militants there as well. There's Islamic Jihad guys that they catch every now and then. But it's not controlled by Hamas. It's controlled by the Jenin brigade. You're not supposed to be there. Why are you there? What are you doing? Why are you? Why are you tearing up the streets? You're not allowed. What the fuck you doing?
Why are you there, guys?
It's also worth noting that Israel didn't buy these bulldozers. We literally paid for them and sent them there. American-made and paid bulldozers killed Rachel Corrie in 2003. They're widening roads for an offensive later. Hamas is a terrorist and should be destroyed by Israel. Hamas is not Palestine. Thanks, man. You're right. Watch out. There might be Hamas under your bed. Yeah. At a certain point, you got to realize, like, everything is Hamas, you know? Maybe everything is Hamas. What about these guys? Are they Hamas? No, you want to know who the real fucking terrorists are? The Israeli settlers here, okay? 2015, 60,000 Americans in the 2015 census lived in the West Bank. 60,000 Americans. In 2015, that number has only grown since then.
Yeah, why are they there?
What's going on? The fuck you doing? You living in the fucking West Bank? That's not your home. That's someone else's home. The fuck are you doing there? Get the fuck out of there.
Active punishment on an entire community. This video shows a soldier beating and taunting a man in the Aida Palestinian refugee camp near Bethlehem. Good morning, you.
Sorry, there's more.
And then spits
he
on
spits
him.
on him. I've shown you this.
New video appears
I
nearly
can't
on
show
a
you this.
daily basis, all showing Palestinians being...
Here, I'll show you this. They also then take all their clothes off and humiliate them as well.
being humiliated. Here, another Palestinian is being asked to swear allegiance to the Israeli flag. But the intimidation can also turn violent. A Telegram channel singled out a growing list of Palestinians. Some are Hamas members or supporters, but there are also activists, artists, or journalists like 26-year-old Mohammed Turkman, a freelancer who also works for Al Jazeera.
It's not a joke. Some people named on.
Bro, I don't think. I gotta repeat this over and over again. I don't think a lot of you understand how fucking racist this shit is. Like how racist this shit. Like how the racism well is deep, dog.
In that chat have already been detained. Others attacked and beaten. One guy was killed in an Israeli prison, and they wrote on his picture, "Mission accomplished."
Back in Hebron, Zakaria al-Adra is recovering from his wounds. A settler shot him in the lower abdomen for simply not wanting to move out of his way. Israel's internal security agency, the Shin Bet, and several Western powers have called on the Israeli government to rein in its settlers before the occupied West Bank implodes. Hud Abdul Hamid, Al Jazeera, in the occupied West Bank.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest.
It's so racist that I don't understand the liberal perspective. I understand the right-wing POV, though. Oh, it's the same. Yeah, it's because liberals are also just as racist when push comes to shove. Here, I'll solve the problem for you. Liberals that look at the situation and think that this is still somehow morally or legally permissible are fucking racist. That's it. You cannot look at the situation and go, yeah, no, that's appropriate. Once you are burdened with the truth, once you realize what is going on, if you're still inside of your mind, if you still have this like inner working going, actually, as a matter of fact, this is somehow still justifiable. This is somehow still moral. This is somehow still legal. Why? Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of those guys. You have to consider why you're afraid of those guys, and that's racism. There's nothing else there. You are a fascist piece of shit.
In the streets of Dearborn, Michigan, overwhelming support for President Joe Biden has turned to anger.
When we voted for Joe Biden, when I worked on his campaign, I thought he would be somebody that could lead with humanity and compassion. Clearly, I was wrong. So I definitely feel betrayed.
More than half of Dearborn's...
I'm going to be honest, like, I didn't ever think that Joe Biden was going to be, you know, a peace-loving guy at all. I know his background. I know he's, like, racist as fuck for throughout different points in his history and his career. But having said that, I'll keep it a $1.50. I'll keep it a stack. I did not think he was going to be this bad. I could not have foreseen how devastatingly bloodthirsty he was going to be about this fucking Israel-Palestine shit. I'm telling you, chat, if you look to American involvement in Israeli affairs, specifically as it pertains to the Palestinian plight, George H.W. Bush, who was literally, brother, every single president would be like this, not just Joe. I'm telling you, George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan look better than motherfucking Joe Biden, specifically on this issue. Yeah, but every president will still be bloodthirsty. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. But, I mean, we know how previous American presidents reacted in different times. And this level of violence has never existed, obviously, in one singular instance. But, like, there was a point in time where at least there was an attempt to rein the violence a little bit. Not to live out, but Trump would almost certainly be way worse. I 100% agree with you. That is actually
Oh,
my
it's fine.
frustration with the
I'm
Biden
into it.
administration.
Thanks, Lily, though.
This is the continuation of Trump's legacy. This is the Abraham Accords. This
Yes,
is
I'm guilting
finally
you.
taking the fucking embassy in
Guilt.
Jerusalem. Like this is a continuation of The very same things that
No.
liberals supposedly got mad at when Trump did it, but then when Biden continued it, they have no problem with it because they're fucking dumbasses.
Residents are of Arab descent, and 70% of them voted for Biden in 2020. But since Biden...
To be fair, though, I don't know how much worse it could be. I'll be honest. I don't know how much worse it could be. Like, what could Trump do that would be worse than Biden? I guess, like, would he put troops on the ground? Maybe. But aren't there possibly troops already on the ground?
I mean, don't test them, I guess.
Oh, you aren't serious? No, I'm serious. I'm saying, like, we're at max. We're at maximum ultra violence. And the only thing I will say is, well, first of all, Trump would be worse than Joe Biden, of course. Make no mistake. On every other issue, I'm simply stating when it comes to this one, I don't know. Would he, like, attack Iran? I guess maybe. Like, you probably try to attack Iran or something?
Why not?
Why would Reagan or especially Bush be better? George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan, I don't know if you know this, but also dealt with Israel. And they weren't great by any means. These are not great people at all. But even both of them in different points have actually scaled back Israeli settlements or demanded to scale back Israeli settlements, demanded to stop violence. So technically, we do know how they would react in a situation like this. That's why I said that, like, there were points in time in American history where at least, like, there was some condemnation that came for Israel. There has never been Barack Obama, but especially Donald Trump, okay, really just took this to the maximum degree that you could take it to. And now Joe Biden, instead of, like, scaling it back, has only ramped it up. That's what I'm stating. I said this already, but, like, by today's standards, by the way, Joe Biden was there back then, and he was still absolutely an ultra-Zionist back then. But I'm stating that at the same time frame when Joe Biden was like, if there wasn't a Jewish state in the name of Israel, we would have created one, Jack. Like, when he was saying that in, like, fucking 1988, like, American presidents and American leadership at the time had a more reserved, more tempered approach to Israel. Do you understand? Bush was busy killing Iraqis. That's why you think he's better? No, I don't. Oh my God, you guys are so weird, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, I'm not talking about President George W. Bush. I'm talking about President George H.W. Bush, okay? And even President George W. Bush also personally thought he could, like, deal with Palestinians, and he fucked it up way worse. But you're wrong. I'm talking about George H.W. Bush and his dealings with George Bush Sr. and Ronald Reagan were significantly more critical and more tempered in like stopping Israel from reacting in the ways that they want to than our current administration here.
That's a loose translation of the Hebrew posters in this Jerusalem rally, but the bums these Jewish settlers refer to are not Israeli politicians, but President Bush and James Baker. Settlers are conservative by most political standards, but if they could vote in the American elections, Bill Clinton would carry the West Bank in a landslide. And Palestinian leaders...
Well, they could. Back then, there weren't that many, but now a lot of people in the West Bank can vote in the American elections.
Supporters of that radical national liberation movement called the PLO confess that these days their hearts are true blue Republican.
Mr. Bush knows the area, knows the parties, and probably will do more to get this conflict resolved quicker than Mr. Clinton or Perot.
It's not even a joke. previous admins were a little bit more optic Andes, but Brandon don't give a fuck. They aren't even trying to hide it. Yeah. Clinton attacked Bush from the right on the Palestine issue. Bush Sr. said he would refuse to guarantee Israeli loans if settlements continue. I know. That was a major fucking point of contention for Israeli politics. Trump policy with ISIS was quite literally bomb the shit out of them, so I don't know why he'd do anything different with Hamas. None of these guys have their own personal opinions on the matter, and none of that gets reflected. You think Ronald Reagan, outside of George H.W. Bush, who, being the CIA Andy that he was, most of these presidents didn't really care about it personally. They just had people around them that cared about it personally, and their advisors were the ones who were leading the charge. But there was a point in time, in my opinion, where American policy was like, we got to fucking scale this back a little bit. We have to give Palestinians something. And we're aligned, at the very least, with the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinian leadership, and even Yasser Arafat. Like, Dahlan, a commander of Arafat's, was directly, like, he was considered to be like a CIA asset. Like, these are people that would come to the United States of America. They had a long and extensive relationship with the U.S. intelligence community. The CIA literally offered them training and gave them a internal police force that they could utilize against Hamas, which they did time and time again at the behest of the Israeli government. The reason why people hate the PA, the reason why people hate the Palestinian Authority and think Fatah is like, is because for the past 3-4 decades almost, every single thing that the PLO has done since they rose to power originally has been ruthlessly shot down by the Israeli administration, as people basically Palestinians basically saw that, like, they were not getting anything.
Biden embraced Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel's war in Gaza. That support has largely evaporated.
We worked very hard to elect him in 2020, and now we don't feel seen, we don't feel heard, and we don't feel safe in our communities because of the rhetoric coming from the Biden administration.
It's a popular topic of conversation in establishments like Haraz Coffee House amid the mingled sense of the Middle East and North Africa. The loss of Arab American and Muslim American support could prove costly for Biden. Donald Trump won in the state of Michigan by 10,000 votes in 2016, and in 2020, Biden won by 155,000. There are 200,000.
You just said that Israel shot down agreements. PLO rejected every border proposal since 1948. Love that, dude. Thank you for the Hosborough talking point. You're absolutely and completely and utterly incorrect, okay? Every single condition that was put forward was, 1, unimaginably cruel, and 2, was simply used as a way to extend the time frame to keep Americans at bay while you acted like you actually gave a shit. Also ridiculous that you're saying this because, like, Palestinians weren't even brought to the fucking equation until this goddamn century. So, I mean, not this century, but until like 30 fucking years ago. So, no, throughout that 75-year-long process,
we'll call that
correct. We'll
call that something.
Palestinians barely had a voice in the conversation in general, but also on top of that, the conditions that were also gross and completely
from the river to the sea.
Not only that,
can't
but
spell
also, and they still said
heart
no,
without
Israel
Devin art.
Suck my
Thank
dick.
you.
I'm not done yet.